Welcome to Lip Service for Contractors. Here you'll learn what moves the needle in your business. With your hosts, Brigham, the deep thinker, Josh, the $100 million contractor, Zach, the confused millennial, Laura, the foreigner. Lip service. It's not about dictatorship. It's about leadership. It's not about duplication. It's about innovation. It's not about stuff. It's about your people. Strap in and get ready for some lip service.
And we are back with another episode of Lip Service for Contractors, you guys. We've got a phenomenal episode for you today. We're going to be talking about how to build a fence around your customers. And it's not so much about letting your customers out of that fence. It's more about keeping your competitors out. All of that and much, much more in 60 seconds.
Chances are you love what you're hearing on Lip Service for Contractors. And if you want to go deeper, have an actionable playbook, or just want to learn from some of the most successful and profitable contractors in the industry, check out Clover Marketing from Josh and Laura. They give away free, amazing information, tools, SOPs, scripts, and processes that help their family business grow to over 140 million. And those same tools have helped other contractors in the industry blow up their business and grow an average of 20% every single year. Check out growwithclover.com/free gifts. They update the free gift section all the time, so make sure you keep coming back.
Power Selling Pros is the customer service coaching company for contractors. Their one-on-one coaching for CSRs helps contractors book at least 85% of their calls and wow more customers. And their group training for technicians helps you create a better buying experience in the home and close more sales. Visit powersellingpros.com to learn more about how you can make more money with their coaching programs.
Welcome back to Lip Service for Contractors, you guys. How do we build a metaphorical fence around our customers?
Not a physical fence. We're not going to like cage them in. This is not.
Why not? Why not? If it comes to that.
Work.
What happens?
Whatever it takes.
He builds a fence around the house. He puts his logo on it, and that's it.
Yeah, that's not. We own them. That's how.
Then
it
to
works,
let
right?
them to for them to be
There's
let
a
out, they have to
fencing
call
company
us.
listening right now. They're like, "That's exactly what we do."
You know, it used to be a discount, right, for yard signs. Hey, we're going to give you a discount for yard signs, but now we're going to build a fence. Don't worry, we'll give you a 10% discount. It's going to be great.
Yep. It's gonna be real tall.
So what does building a fence really mean?
Building a fence around a customer at a very basic level is strategies and techniques you could do to make sure you lock down that customer and you don't have to rebuy that customer. What I mean by rebuying is like some people only run PPC ads or Google ads, right? And every time that same customer that's used to using you goes and needs a service, they search it on Google and you have to repurchase it. And by the way, you have to compete with everybody else that's there. How do we eliminate that competition? Have them come directly to you instead of shopping around. Seems crazy, but it's actually not nearly as difficult as you think. So I got a whole bunch of stuff on this, but I'll let you guys weigh in first.
First thing that comes to my mind is maintenance agreements.
Oh,
Yes.
that's number one.
But
Talk to me about
maintenance agreements, people's approach to them are different. Like when I learned that many contractors call their clients every single year asking them to renew their maintenance agreements, to me, I thought that was just bonkers because no other subscription works that way. Like you don't get a call from Netflix every year and we're like, you ready to update your subscription? It just doesn't happen. But it happens with the subscription in our industry. Why are they not recurring? And because of that, people question, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I didn't use you guys last year. Maybe I shouldn't stay with you guys. And people don't answer their phones or they change their mind and then they price around and then you lose that person, which you'd work so hard to get. So maintenance agreements not being perpetual, I think, is a big problem.
Let's do this. Let's do this because we could go now. I think everybody understands the value to a maintenance agreement. It's how we evaluate the actual money value of a business. It's how you tie in customer, keeps you busy during the slow season. And yes, it builds a fence around your customers, but only if it's set up properly. So let's talk about elements of a maintenance agreement before we go too far. One, Laura just mentioned, it better be perpetual, meaning you should have a monthly and an annual plan. and you shouldn't have to call and get approval. You should have it automatically recharge the card, because that's what 99.9% of other businesses do. And customers are used to that. So do it that way. Perpetual is one piece of it, right? So you don't have to track them down. And there's lots of ways to track them down. That's a different conversation. But when you're building a fence around customers, you have to have certain elements into it.
So a question for you is, do you mean elements as in like reasons to have a maintenance agreement, or reasons to focus on selling them, or actually the components in a maintenance agreement?
I would say the components, because I think a lot of people mess this up.
Okay.
Like everyone does a discount on service. Yes, you should have a discount on service. I think we're all the same. A lot of people do priority service where they say they do priority service, but they don't. You really should. If you're going to tell somebody you do some priority service, you should do priority service, right? You should have a discount on diagnosed or overnights, or have, 2 tune-ups automatically tied to it. That's what I would recommend. All of that's the basic stuff, and I think we all have that. What a lot of people don't have is things that tie them in, where they, wink wink, lose money if they go with someone else. So a good one of this is like creating install credit. So $100 for every year that you're a member with us. For every year, we add $100 to your install credit. So after 5 years, you have $500. And when you need to replace that system, if you decide to go with someone else, unfortunately, you lose that $500. It's an install credit where $100 goes every single year. What am I doing there? I'm building a fence. That's kind of a knee level fence. They could walk over it, but a lot of people won't. Right. So simple things like that. Make sure when you're building an agreement, make sure it's built to actually retain and make it difficult for people to go somewhere else. So
I
things like
really
that, where it
love
adds
that.
value every year, makes it very difficult. First year is not that big a deal. They're 10 years in. That's $1,000. I don't want to lose $1,000.
Yeah, right.
I love that idea. Specifically planting a seed that when they do an install, you're the one doing it because of that discount they get every year, or that adds up every year. I love that. Laura, when you say perpetual, what do you mean by that?
Recurring.
Yeah.
So it's like when you go to Netflix and you put in your credit card details, they don't call you for those credit card details again. It's just this subscription.
So it's monthly. You're processing payment
Or
monthly.
annual, or annually.
Okay.
It could be
But it's
either.
automatic.
Annually too.
Correct. It's
You're not
automatic.
having to call and resell it every year.
Correct. Correct.
Love
Yes.
that.
Correct.
Love that. I felt like it was important for us to
Yeah.
be specific there. I wish that I could say, and I'm sure that Josh, having been to many, many dealers, has seen lackluster maintenance agreements. They're either lackluster or they're not very well implemented. They kind of take, or both. Yeah, they kind of take a backseat, even in well-established, amazing companies that do a lot of revenue. Say they're doing 20 million and they've got 500 service agreements. That's an opportunity missed, you guys.
Oh yeah. And they're so powerful, not just for building a fence. There's so many benefits to them. And it's amazing. By the way, simple things, just so we're on the same page, no one should be calling it a maintenance agreement. Are we on the same page there? Like, give a name that you could tell a story to.
Yeah.
That seems really obvious, but maintenance agreement doesn't have a great context. Like for Parker and Sons, we call it the Parker family plan. Are you part of the Parker family? We treat you like family. Like there's all kinds of things you could lead off of that name. So many people's like, this is our service agreement. It's $100. Well, what the hell? Like no one wants a service agreement. Like, tell a story, right?
And an agreement, like agreement and contract, have such negative connotations. They think they're like tied in.
Contract worse than agreement, but yeah.
Yep.
I love this, the marketing specific insight there. Obviously, Josh and Laura are running an awesome marketing company called Clover Marketing. Highly suggest it, and it's for reasons like those that it's important to have a marketing expert on your team so that you can have really cool names that invite people in, as opposed to something generic like a service agreement. Very good point.
Another reason that I think maintenance visits, which happen as a consequence of being a maintenance agreement customer, is that even when there's nothing wrong and they come out and they go on a maintenance visit, they're forced to like, slow down and make sure everything's okay. So they see other opportunities, they see other things that it's like the health and safety inspection. They see other things that can be worked upon. So it's not just a good cross-selling opportunity if you're in plumbing or electrical, but it's also, again, there's probably an opportunity of something else you can fix. And the more things that you fix in a person's home, the more loyal they tend to be toward you.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, really, in general, like this sounds weird, but cross-selling and maybe doing a home and safety inspection is an unbelievably effective way of locking down a customer. Because truth is, if you do AC or plumbing, right? If you do just AC, you don't do plumbing, you better partner with a plumbing company. That, yes, you should get some sort of back and forth. They give you leads, back and forth, or maybe there's a payment process to it where they don't do AC, right? Because here's what happens if you don't recommend people. They call a plumbing company out of the yellow pages. No one has yellow pages anymore. Sorry, Google or whatever, right? Uh, some of those plumbing companies also do AC, and you could potentially lose that customer, right? So on things that are tied in, let's make sure we cross sell and make sure that you're the resource, even if you're not doing the work. If you're doing the work, then you better not. When you go out for AC, you better be talking about plumbing, right? But if you don't do plumbing, you better have someone set up, because if you don't, someone else will.
It also, Brigham, and you speak about this a lot, obviously creating wow experiences. If you're calling your maintenance agreement the VIP package or the family, what did Parker and Sons call
Parker
it, honey?
family plan. Parker
Parker
family
family plan. If you're trying to portray this family feel or that they're a VIP, it's got to be an experience. Like, that's so again, making it that wow experience, actually communicating the title of your maintenance agreement. So taking that time, not just an in and out kind of job. Take the time, find potential opportunities, but also make sure that there's an experiential element as well.
Yeah. I was at a wrestling tournament watching my son wrestle. He's 14 years old. And one of his coaches, one of my son's coaches, is a chiropractor during the day, right? Coach at night, chiropractor during the day. And I was sitting there talking to him in between wrestling matches, and crazy thing, his customers come in for rehabilitation. They break something, they hurt something, they strain something, they come in. And he said, it's tough trying to get out of this rat race. All I've done is created a job for myself. In the back of my head, I'm going, boy, this sounds familiar. And so we were sitting there talking, and I said, look, how do you get those customers to come in even when they're not hurt, right? And in other words, keep them in the game, keep them on the trail, keep them. How do you do that? And he's like, that's a great question. I'd love to know how to do that. I said, what you need is you need a maintenance program where you maintain their ability to do those extracurricular activities, right? For them, it's their therapy, right? When I'm trail running, it's therapy for me. I need to continue to go out there. So if I sprain an ankle and I'm done, guess what? My therapy is also done. So I need that regular exercise. I need to be out there on the mountain. I mean, we're here in Utah, and you look outside, there's mountains everywhere. To not be able to be on a mountain regularly, boy, that would really affect my work. It is going to affect my family life. And so I simply said to him, I said, look, all you need is when people come in, tell them about this amazing program that keeps them from getting hurt. The best time to sell a service agreement is when they're feeling that emotional angst, right? They're calling in and they're feeling the emotional angst. They are surprised by this. It's completely disruptive. Well, that's when you want to sell it. Crazy thing, right? And I just shared this idea with him, and he looked at me as if I was sharing some sort of, I don't know, gold, like I was a genius, right? I can't believe it. So it was a really, really cool conversation, and same basic principle. And he saw it as a way of getting out of the rat race, where you can build
income, right? Passive. How would you call that, Josh? Income that you don't directly have to affect, that it's just coming in and month out.
Yeah, it's passive income. That's
Yeah, passive income. That was on the tip of my
Residual
tongue.
passive income. Passive income is like the best type of money you could ever get, by the way. It's
Totally.
amazing. I sleep and I make money. That's a good way to live.
The only way to true wealth is if your passive income is your passive income is more than your expenses.
So I have a
That's the
question.
only way to actually be wealthy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that.
Here's my question. So maintenance plans, we're all in agreement here, are amazing. Everybody should be selling maintenance plans, getting their customers on recurring plans and give them cool names, right? Are there other ways to build recurring revenue? Are there other ways to build a fence around your customers? I ask this because I've recently had an interest in how media companies operate, and how even the most boring and dull industries that you would think they couldn't possibly make money, let alone recurring revenue, entertaining or informing people, they do. You know, they put out magazines or trainings or regular content. Is that possible for a home service business to do something like that?
One thing that came to my mind was, and it's definitely more timid, but the sticker program where you put when you put in a new HC unit, you put your company sticker on it. So it's not like you're not securing them in as much as you would within a maintenance agreement, but people sometimes just do the easy thing. And if their HVAC unit breaks down and they go out and stickers there, they're like, okay, well, heck, I'll just call them. So,
Sticker program is a great way to build
Yeah.
a fence around the customer. That's not exactly Zach's question. Are there other things
Oh,
for
sorry.
recurring?
Sorry.
There are. Yeah. Like you could sell filter programs where they automatically get delivered. Um, it depends what other services you offer. It could be, there are very few passive things in our industry, but there are a few. But to Laura's point, building a fence, that's probably the next most powerful thing you could do, is stickering up a house. Now, a lot of people don't do it very well. Um, Laura, we have example stickers, don't we? We do for everything.
Where it's in the process of being designed by our graphic designer, but yes, we have it.
So reach out to Laura. We'll get that taken care of. But like when I say sticker, like a lot of people put the sticker on the AC unit, but it's really for them. It's like, hey, how old's the system? What's the model number? That really doesn't matter to a customer, right? Yeah, you can have a sticker like that, but if you're doing AC and plumbing, right, and maybe electrical, right, there better be a sticker on the panel on how to shut off the electrical panel. There better be a water shut off valve, how to turn off the water heater. There should be on one on the actual valve, so when they go out and they shut it off because they're talking to a plumbing company, which is hopefully you, but all of your contacts info there. It should be on the lip of the filter, so every time they change the filter in the return, they see your name, right? If you have a thermostat that opens up, which happens very rarely, like it should be in the thermostat when they change the batteries. It should be in the back of the thermostat. If not, like be places where customers are active. You know, like garbage disposal underneath the sink on the garbage disposal. What you should do if it makes weird noises, or how to
That's
clean out the garbage disposal.
the
Like simple stuff. Like these are value to the customer.
right.
But the goal is like when they see a problem, what do they do? The first thing they do is they go look. Whose contact information they can see? Are they going to see no one's? Are they going to see yours?
The key to Josh's point there is it's got to, you can only really get away with putting your logo there if you're actually helping them. They don't want your logo just stamped all around the place for no good reason, you know?
Hey, what are 20 stickers this guy's company?
Right. But if it's actually helping them, they'll totally deal with it because they want to remember those instructions the next time an issue arises. So yeah, obviously you can't just one sticker fits all is not going to work. You got to tailor your stickers for the actual device that they would potentially run into a problem with.
Where you're placing it. Yeah,
Where you
sure.
place it, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you go to an airport, you know, back when we used to do that.
Those were the days.
Yeah, I know, right? That you would have people from different airlines with a sporadic, table or even something fancier than that, and they try and sell you a credit card, right? And it was so annoying because you're trying to catch a flight or you want to eat something, and they're sitting there saying, "Hey, get 5,000, flyer miles." And yeah, it was so annoying. And I thought it was such a dumb idea until I went to Shills. Now, what's interesting about Shills is they sell sporting goods, and I I mean, it's like my favorite place. And you guys, I have been buying from a shoe company called Wasatch Running for years. I mean, religiously every 3 months I'm there either buying shoes or buying
You must have a lot of shoes.
oh gee, forget it. Tons. Sporting goos and rehydrations, all that stuff. Well, Shills stole me. Why? Because every time I use their credit card, I get points. Now all my shoes are free. Why? Because I spend that Shills card everywhere. So when I go into Shills and get my shoes, I get them at no charge. And so hopefully it'd be so cool if on one of these podcasts, Parker and Sons, we find out that Parker and Sons now has their own credit card. Because when I called Shills, it wasn't a Shills credit card, guys. It was a Bank of America First. Bank of America First approached them and set up the whole thing. It was incredible how they stole me. Nothing was getting me away from Wasatch Running. Nothing until they offered free shoes.
I don't want to go to school.
It's an interesting idea. I like it. It's definitely building a fence. You know, every time you buy something, it goes towards your
Yeah. Or your new system or whatever.
I like this. I like where this is going.
Yeah, it's intense. It's intense.
Here's
There's a play around that. I'm thinking about maybe you could do like a marketing co-op and include several services.
Yeah.
And it's like your house is taken care of because we have a garage guy, we have a roofing guy, we have a painter, we have electrician, plumber, air conditioning guy, pest guy. It's actually a decent idea. You just got. I like it. It's like a marketing co-op. That's what I would do. I don't know if anyone would buy a straight Parker and Sons credit card, but hey, you never know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a cool idea.
I'm looking at an interesting idea right here too. I just got curious. Like, what are heating and air and plumbing companies doing? And there's a company here in Utah. Am I allowed to name drop?
Why not?
I'm
sure.
We're not working with these folks.
Not yet.
Any hour plumbing, heating, and cooling. They're massive.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, those guys. I'm just
They're massive in Utah.
So they have a podcast. They have 53 episodes on their podcast. They release an episode every week. It looks like their latest one came out yesterday, where they give home service advice.
Wow.
They teach people, like their last one was, don't use drain chemicals, electrical, dangerous panels, how a furnace works, and their YouTube channel is stacked. And I bet you that
some guerrilla marketing. That's what that is.
Yeah. They also put ads in our movie theaters. Fun fact for you: when you go to the movies in Utah, Any Hour is on the screen advertising with all the movie producers.
When you once went to the movies,
Yeah.
Relics of an ancient past.
That's the last time you've been to movies now. But so like that's a big part of it too, is like communicating, right? How many companies, and this is the norm, not the exception, but how many companies, wait for a problem to come back out? We should have been here. Let me mute Laura here.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. You guys, this podcast is all about innovation, right? New ideas like this are extremely important. Considering new and innovative ways to build that fence around your customers, so around your customers, around your competitors. They can't get out, but around your customers, so competitors can't get in. And it definitely shows great leadership. So developing a podcast is outside the box. And I'll tell you guys, this market, the Utah market for heating and cooling companies, man, it is brutal. It is fierce. And the guys that are here, right? Ken Whipple and Superior Water and Air, Rob Anderson,
I know Rob
Troy Nearings. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Prominent dealers that everybody knows about, great leaders in the industry, and they're all in this market competing against one another. So that's a great example of fierce competition in Utah.
Yeah. So one of the things though, so communication is so important, right? How many people wait? Like a podcast is a good way to reach out to people. Is the easiest, cheapest way to reach out to people. Zach does this constantly. Laura does this constantly. Laura, you're on mute, by the way, just so you know. freaking email and text your customers before they need your service.
Staying top of mind is
Duh.
so important. Again, it's like it's like when people think about your services, you want them to immediately think you. And the only way you do that is stay front of mind. And the only way you stay front of mind is like contact.
The highest.
Yeah, and give them valuable information. Don't just be like that newsletter is like, hey, it's $30 off this month. Hey, it's $40 off this month. Hey, we got this great offer. Like, give them value.
Yep.
We used to do this, and I think it was really powerful. And this is getting real complicated, but we had an automation system where we put all customers into 3 buckets. So you were either young, no kids, family, or older, no kids. And you would have a completely different email based off of that, right? Because someone in their 60s aren't interested in the same thing as someone in their 30s, and a family's not interested in the same. So a good example would be in the middle of summer, we might send a discount tickets to Sunsplash, which is a local, amusement park here, right? Like a water park. How much value do we get to give by that? And we just stay in front of customers so they don't call other people when they have issues. And this is marketing in general, but some marketing is very expensive. Email and text messages, pennies. It's nothing.
Yeah. To put that in context, this is obviously different in every industry, right? But on average, email has an ROI of $38 for every dollar spent on it on average. That depends, of course, on market email, but as a general rule, $38 per every dollar spent. It's the highest ROI of any marketing channel. Facebook ads, it's like $1.72 for every dollar spent on average. Email such a high ROI, and text message as well. Josh, you always say this to us. You're like, how many unread text messages do you have in your phone right now?
I'm like, none, right?
0.
None.
So here is when thinking about maintenance agreements as well and building a fence and all of that. So many people obviously go and get maintenance agreements, and then they go and get new maintenance agreements, and they forget about all their old ones that have lapsed. What a disaster, because you've just wasted all that time and you're just chasing your tail. I was just thinking about a solution. Recently, we built for members of ours, people who are not yet perpetual. Almost everybody that with us now, if they're not perpetual, they're working towards that, because clearly it's just you don't have to worry about it again. We built these emails. So,
It's just the
What?
way
It's
to go.
Totally. And we can help you get there. In the meantime, though, between where you're at now and working with us, you can email me, and we have maintenance agreements emails. So if you're trying to work toward getting them to perpetual, there's emails that you sent out, like I think it's like a month before their renewal, a week before, a couple of days before, or whatever, before their maintenance agreement is about to lapse, and through
Just for
certain
annual.
particular
On
kind of
annual, you gotta
wording.
warn them. Yeah.
For annual, you
You
got to
don't have to
warn
do
them,
that
but
for
there's
monthly,
also,
though.
well,
Go ahead, sorry.
if you don't have their credit card on file, then yes. Only if you don't have their credit card on file. So the ultimate goal is get their credit card on file so it can become recurring, and obviously build that into the agreement. But work toward that. We have emails that can facilitate that for you. That's my point. So you can reach out. Laura@growwithclover.com.
Drop in emails. You know what, another good way to build a fence around a customer that no one really thinks about, and it's unbelievable because it's so obvious, is be quick. When someone calls you, answer the phone quickly so they don't call someone else. When you go out,
Totally.
try to cut down that service time. Especially, this drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. Like, hey, it's an ideal call. It's an over 10-year-old system. We go out there, we make a recommendation, we flip it, right? So it's a salesperson, a comfort consultant's coming out, and it's like, we're gonna get out to him tomorrow. It's like, no, go now. like tomorrow they have all the time to change their mind, or call someone else. Be quick, close the deal down before they have other options.
And he's right. And something that we speak about and talk about a lot too is you can't just have your techs or the people in the house selling your maintenance agreements, or even talking about them, or even fulfilling them. You obviously, the CSRs need to be selling them, but also talking about them, so they're consistently reminding the customer of the value of having them. It cannot just be the person in the house. It's such a shame and a waste, because that rapport built with the CSR is huge.
Here's another. this doesn't directly, impact customers, but trade schools.
Yeah.
Lots of companies will set up their own tech training program. They'll come and they'll pay people to come and be apprentices or work there, and that leads to a full-time job. I think that's a great way as well to build a fence around at least your community, right? Even if they're not paying customers. I think that's a really cool way to do it too.
Yeah, I mean that's really about building around your team members. But yeah, that's unfortunately our industry. It's becoming harder and harder to recruit, so you have to get more and more creative. And we've done podcasts on that, and me and Laura have all kinds of. We actually just launched a 7-module course that's killing it, and people are changing the world with it. But you know, schools are a great way to do it. We recommend like BTI if you're in the Phoenix area or in the West Coast. There's companies on the East Coast. It just so many of those companies teach technical skills but never how to teach to a customer, or worse, this is real bad in Phoenix. There's schools here, we won't name names, but they spend 6 months and an absorbent amount of money learning how to be a tech, and they get a job, and their first day they go into an attic, and it's the first time they've ever been in an attic in the summertime, and they're like, oh wait, this is not the job for me. It's like, oh crap.
I can only imagine though how hot it is in there.
It gets to like 180, 200 in the middle of summer.
Oh.
Yeah, it's warm.
Like if you put anybody who is not adjusted to that heat in there, like clearly that's another level altogether. But I know for a fact if you took any one of my family members and put them in that attic, like they would take the wind right out of their sails.
Melt. They would literally
melt. They would feel unwell for days and days.
I have to wonder, how do you simulate that in the off season so that technicians know what they're getting into?
At least you get them up in the attic, right? Because some of them are like, they're real big guys. They want to be a service tech, and you could do that, right? But you got to understand, you're gonna be crawling through an attic, and there's nails, and there's sometimes rats, or you're crawling underneath, mobile homes when there's snakes, and like this is part of the job, and it's not the best part of the job, but you gotta know that it exists before you commit a career and a bunch of money to it. But yeah. So
in addition to building a fence,
terrified. He's like, oh, snakes, rats, seriously.
Well, I just thought you can.
I did a ride along in Tucson not that long ago, and I was just doing it for Comfort Consultants, and we pull up to a double wide. And I just like, I'm gonna have to crawl under this double wide. I know it's coming. Like, I know we have to do this, and like it's like, all right, let's mentally prepare. How long has it been since I crawled under a double wide? It was in the middle of the desert. It was a beautiful property, but you get underneath, and I was like, you just heard stuff moving around. You're like, oh god. So focus on the AC.
Gosh, they're noble people, Tex, no doubt about it. I don't know what I deal with the heat. I think that's kind of a mental toughness thing. But if I saw a bat or a snake, there's just no way. There's no way. Yeah. That's good for them. Good for them. Well, guys, I think we're coming to an end. I hope that was helpful. There's many ways to build a fence around your customers. Definitely a maintenance agreement is the most powerful. Literally, if you choose to not go, if you're not doing anything perpetual now, and you go perpetual, oh my gosh, like a game changing thing you could do for your business. So that in and of itself was worth listening to this podcast for. And again, if you need help doing that, reach out and we can provide further solutions and guidance and advice on making that happen. Zach, it looks like you're ready to say something. Go ahead.
That's something very urgent, guys. I've written down throughout this conversation 19 things that they can do to build a fence around their customers.
Oh, amazing.
We need one more though to put it at 20. We have to. We need.
Give me the list.
I thought about
recovery system. There you go.
Yeah.
Sales recovery system. So sales recovery system is if you go out and install, a lot of people are good at this, but not really, or a large repair and they decide not to do repair. This is how you follow up to make sure you close that call. And it's going to be phone calls. It's going to be emails. It's going to be text message, and it's going to be a direct mail piece. When I say direct mail piece, we send them out in an envelope, information about the company, the copy of the proposal, folder, all kinds of stuff. You'd be surprised. We do it not in normal mail. We do priority mail. That way people open it, right? So I'm paying, $3 to $5 for each one of those, but we close 1 out of 25. And if we're doing it for compressors or a new system, wow, that pencils out really well. That's number 20, building a fence.
Oh
around the
man,
customer.
that's good stuff.
That is good stuff.
That's how you metaphorically
chicka,
build a
boom.
fence. Yeah, that's how you metaphorically build a fence around your customers to keep your competitors out. Good stuff.
You gonna give the 20, or are we just
I
gonna
was
say,
just gonna
hey,
say,
you're gonna
I'll
have to go
recap.
back and re-listen to the whole thing?
No. I'll give the list. I'm going to give the list. We're going to recap to finish up here. All right. These are the 20 ways to build a fence around your customers and keep your competitors out. Number one, automatically recharge them. Make your maintenance plan payments perpetual. You can discount on service calls, give priority service, do 2 tune-ups with them when they're on your maintenance plan. Provide install credits. So every year that they're on your maintenance plan, they get $100 toward a potential install down the road. Tell a story with the name of your maintenance plan. Contract and agreement are bad words to include in your maintenance plan. Cross-sell your other services to customers. Never just sell one thing.
One of us are counting wrong here.
Put stickers on the things that you are fixing in their home, so that every time they go to look at it, see what's wrong, your name, logo, and phone number pop up. Somebody's got to experiment on this for Brigham. Make a company credit card, so every time they spend money somewhere else, they get credits with you.
Oh, I'm going to try this. This is going to happen within the next 30 days. I'll let you know how it goes.
Awesome.
Oh, I can't believe I missed that. I've total FOMO. I stepped away for a minute.
Make a podcast. Any hours doing that here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Be in constant communication with the customers through email, phone, text. Create a trade school. Give them coupons to local places. Answer the phone. Be quick. Don't make them wait if they need service. Everyone in the company should be selling maintenance plans, and create a sales recovery system so that nothing falls through the cracks.
By the way, we've scratched the surface. There's all kinds of stuff. The key is, like, don't wait for the customer to call you. Go to them.
Proactivity in every area of your business is so important.
I mean, like, any company that tells me, hey, we work from 9 to 5. I'm like, are you a banker or do you work in the home service industry, right? Like, these are two different things. Like, what happens when do they find out they have problems? At night, on the weekends? That's a way to build a fence around your customer. All of these, like, how do we make sure we're the only option or the best option? Only is better, but best option I'll accept. And all of them add up. Like, there's literally, I could probably put together a list of 100 myself if I just sat here for 20 minutes, 30 minutes and just wrote them out. But think that way. Think what you could be doing differently to make yourself stick out. Make it painful in a way for a customer to use someone else.
Great stuff.
Yeah, that was a good.
Thank you guys. Hopefully that was super helpful. Reach out to us if you need anything. Until next time, stay busy. Tell them, Josh.
Go change the world.
Oh my gosh. You're not caught on yet. Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Lip Service for Contractors. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to leave us a review in the App Store and don't forget to share with your friends. Ideas are cheap. Implementation is what separates the winners from the watchers. Go out and implement these ideas. See you on the next episode of Lip Service for Contractors.